Hey guys, this is North back again with another video. Today's video I'm coming to you with 7 fragrances that I think are the truth. Now as you see in the thumbnail, I chose Paul Pierce, whose number was 34 and his nickname was The Truth. But I did not want to try to come up with 34 fragrances that I think are the truth. So 3 plus 4 is 7. Try to keep these videos a little bit short, on the shorter side. So I'm going to give you 7 fragrances that I think are the truth. Now there are a few things that I'm trying to do with this video. One is that I was watching Dimitri's Signature Scents video about the 7 fragrance families. So I thought, how about I try to choose one fragrance from every fragrance family that he had broken down. But unfortunately, I do not have one from each fragrance family that I think is the truth. For example, I don't have a Fougere. So let's look at these 7 fragrance families that he mentioned. So let's go ahead and go through them. We have amber fragrances, which before were called Orientals. I believe they're using amber for that type of category now. Woody fragrances, floral, leather, citrus, Chypre, and Fougere, which again, I don't have one on my list that I consider to be the truth. I actually don't have that many in general because when you look them up, they aren't put in these strict categories, so I just try to do the best that I can. What I tried to do was give you 7 fragrances that are in sort of different genres and also fragrances that I haven't mentioned a ton of times in the few videos that I have. So let's go ahead and see what I have. The first fragrance that I want to mention is from the citrus family, and this is from Rosendo Mateu. I believe this is the only one I have from this line, and this is number 1. This one is called, of course, number 1. It has it on the front, as you see, bergamot, tea leaf, sandalwood. All right. Again, this is part of the citrus family. Other notes in it are tea, bergamot, lime, green mandarin, sage, bitter orange, neroli, and sandalwood. So this one I think is the truth as far as citrus fragrances are concerned. It has a little bit of juiciness in it, but it has also the bitterness of the neroli and also the bitter orange, and it has that tea in it. So if you like something like Oolong Cha from Nishane, this is sort of in that same vein, but it's less tea than Oolong Cha, for example. So Rosendo Mateu number 1 is what I have from the citrus family. The next fragrance I want to mention is from the Chypre family. This is something I just started getting into. Of course, I've owned some fragrances that are Chypre, like Hachivat, for example, and Aventus. But this one that I wanted to choose that I think is the truth is from MDCI Parfums, and this one is Chypre Palatin. This fragrance was my favorite pickup of 2022. Again, this is Chypre Palatin. This one has notes of Aldehydes, Clementine, Labdanum, Rose, Tolu Balsam, Oakmoss, Castoreum, and Benzoin. This one is another beautiful fragrance. This has shot right up to the top of one of my favorite fragrances of all time. Chypre Palatin is it's a winner. This one is definitely the truth when it comes to Chypre. It forced me to sort of go down this rabbit hole of trying to find other fruity Chypres that I could find. I picked up a few. I'm waiting to get a couple more throughout the year. I would try to come up with at least a top 5 Chypre or fruity Chypre fragrances. So Chypre Palatin from the Chypre family. The next fragrance family that I want to talk about is florals. I'm not too much into many other types of florals outside of rose, so I did choose a rose fragrance to represent the rose category. But this one that I chose is Rose Flash from Andy Tower, Towerville. This one was a blind buy. It was one of the pickups that I did last year. This contains rose, of course, resins, and woody notes. It doesn't have a complete note breakdown because Andy Tower doesn't release complete note breakdowns. But this one I, again, think is the truth because it is rose. It does have the jammy rose in it, but it's also very resinous. So it's an awesome rose scent. And also this one is an Extrait de Parfum. Nobody carries Andy Tower, the whole line here where I live, but one of the guys I get fragrances from, sometimes he brings some in. And so it's between this and a Vanilla Flash. Vanilla Flash is a Eau de Parfum. This is an Extrait. So besides the fact that I enjoy rose fragrances more than I actually enjoy vanilla fragrances, and this is an Extrait, I decided to get this one. It lasts all day. It's an awesome rose resinous scent. So if you love rose scents, this is definitely one to check out. So representing the rose category is Rose Flash. The next family or category I want to mention is the leather family. Now, the leather family, there are a few typical fragrances that are leather fragrances, most of which I'm not fans of, like ombre leather or Tuscan leather or oud leather from Mateu. They all smell the same or smell very similar. I'm not a fan of those, but I am a fan of Castoreum notes, fragrances that have Castoreum in it. And Castoreum is an animalic note, and that note has been used in fragrances for a long time. It's used to create this leather note and a lot of other fragrances. So the fragrance that I chose to represent the leather family is from another new family, another new fragrance house that I just got into, and it's from Francesca Bianchi, and this one's called the Lover's Tale. Now, the Lover's Tale, this is an awesome fragrance. This one has honey, orris, jasmine, peach, rose, castoreum, musk, oakmoss, labdanum, and sandalwood. This is definitely an animalic fragrance. It's a powdery animalic leather type scent. So if you don't like animalics, you probably won't like this one. And these are all extraits. They're just like the Andy Tower, so they only come in 30 ml bottles. But when I smelled this is another blind buy that I got from my guy. And I just instantly fell in love with it. You know, the guy that put me onto this house, he was there purchasing stuff too. And he was like, what about this one? He was like, that one's animalic. You know, I'm not really into that. So I said, bingo. I picked it up, and this one was a successful blind buy. They happen sometimes, but not all the time, so I wouldn't suggest that. I haven't mentioned any of the release dates. I'll put all of that in the description down below. So from the leather family, again, we have the Lover's Tale from Francesca Bianchi. The next family I wanted to talk about is the woody family. Now, there are lots of different types of woods, and again, these categories, they get blurred. You know, there's so many different things. There's now gourmands, there's aquatics, there's greens, there's all these different things. So again, all I tried to do was just give you 7 different representations of types of categories of fragrances. And this one comes from the house of Michane. It's considered a woody. It can also be considered an aromatic. And this one is Sultan vetiver. Sultan vetiver. This one is almost nothing but vetiver, but I absolutely love this scent. I think it's the truth when it comes to vetiver scents because it has Java vetiver oil, bergamot, bourbon vetiver, Haitian vetiver, neroli, tonka bean, and amber. This one, all of these are extraits, so they do last an extremely long time. And this is just a quintessential vetiver fragrance. If you are into the note of vetiver, this is something that I think you should definitely get your nose on if you do not own this one. So from the woody family, we have Sultan vetiver. All right, one that I have representing the amber family. This one is considered on the Fragrantica to be an amber woody, and this one is from the house of L'Orchestre Parfums, and this one is Encens Asakusa. Encens Asakusa is considered an amber fragrance. This one has iris, frankincense, myrrh, and cypress. This is one of my all-time favorite incense fragrances, incense-based fragrances. It is a very beautiful scent. It is just one in my incense, top 10 incense, I believe I put it number 3. So it is one of my all-time favorite fragrances of all time, that iris mixed with the frankincense and the myrrh and the cypress, which you find cypress and of course frankincense in a lot of incense-based fragrances, but that mixed with the iris just makes this a very beautiful scent. It's undeniably nice. That's all I can say about it. So representing the amber family, we have Encens Asakusa, again from L'Orchestre Parfums. Now, the last fragrance that I want to mention is one that didn't fit in any of these 7 categories. This one is considered a musky, floral, woody. This is what they had on the website. And this one is from the house of Mugler. This is from the private line. This is Over the Musk. This one, the label is worn off a lot. This was a tester bottle that I found, and I remember watching the perfume guy, one of his videos, and I was just trying to find white musk fragrances, and this one was on his list, and this is an absolutely gorgeous white musk scent. Now, the notes in this are, of course, white musk, cashmere wood, ambrette seeds, and black pepper. This was just a love at first sniff. This is one of my favorite fragrances of all time. I love it so much that when I found a bottle for pretty cheap, because I thought it was discontinued, but all they did was repackage it. The bottles are the same, but the packaging changed. I found one in the old packaging for a very cheap price, so I picked up a backup bottle of that. I don't, as of now, I'm not trying to pick up a bunch of backup bottles because I just have too many fragrances. I have to get through these. But this is one that I'm definitely not disappointed that I got a backup bottle of. I definitely won't try to get rid of it because to me, this was the best white musk scent that I have smelled. It was #1 on my list of top 5 white musk fragrances. So this one was one that didn't fit squarely in any of these categories, but again, it's a different style. It doesn't smell edible, but it's very sweet. It's almost gourmandish, and it has that white musk touch to it. If you've tried body musk from Abdul Samad Al-Quraishi and things like that, it has very, very slight similarities to it, but it is in a whole nother ballpark. And so this is definitely the truth. Everything I mentioned on here, I think is the truth, whether that means 10 out of 10, whatever that means to you, that's what it means. But these are 7 fragrances and 7 different styles and 7 different fragrance families that I think are the truth. What are some fragrances that you think are the truth? Can you maybe give me one from different fragrance families? Can you give me some fougères to check? I have the Tragedy of Lord George from Penhaligon's, which is considered a barbershop or a fougère. I've worn it a few times. I do really like that scent, but I wasn't absolutely sold on the fact that it was the truth to me. So I didn't add it. So I didn't add a fougère. So if you can give me some suggestions on some great lavendery, very nice fougères, I'd really appreciate it. I'll see you guys on the next video. I'm just gonna try to rank some of the houses that I have in my collection. Next one I wanna try to do, hopefully will be Nishane, because I have finally got 10 Nishanes in my collection. So I'll try to rate those and just see what's next. So I appreciate your time. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one, guys. Peace.